In 60 minutes, the world is about to be invaded by a hostile and genocidal alien species known as the Akazid. I am live streaming this message in hopes of reaching as many people as possible. To be frank, there's not much our technology will be able to do against the Akazids. So what I want to tell you all is this. Go home. Be with your loved ones.
Hey Elijah, you're late. What time you getting in?
I'm not coming in today, Reza. I quit.
You quit? You're my best guy on the grills.
Really?
Nah, but I'm short on staff.
Go home to your kids, Reza. There's not much time left.
I don't have any kids.
Interdimensional aliens are coming here. They're gonna take us. They're taking over, Joe Rogan. They're taking over. Interdimensional aliens. We told you before. Freemasons, Illuminati.
My name is Elijah House. I was born in the city of Milton Keynes, in the United Kingdom, to my mother, Carla, and my father, Pete. I grew up with older siblings, a brother and a sister. My parents were loving people, but they were anxious. They were very worried all the time. That's what it felt like. They would fight each other a lot, and that's what used to scare me. I remember good things too. I remember touching my mother's face for hours on end when I was an infant. The sound of her voice as she would sing me to sleep. My father would rock me when I was sick. I remember the goods. I remember the bad. We're all broken people. We're all imbalanced. I was imbalanced too. Scared child. I would cry. I would cry whenever I went to school. I remember being scared to swim. I would watch wrestling on TV. As I got older, I started to play table tennis. My dad taught me how to play. I was good, but I would get nervous at matches. I didn't want my family to see me play. And I regret that. All right. Let's skip to the interesting part then, shall we? When I was 10, I was on a plane to New York for a table tennis training camp with my teammates and my coach. My parents would fly there the day after. So, a few hours into the flight, I'm sitting there eating pasta, I think. And then the plane starts to get very shaky. Brace! Brace! The air hostess shouted, "Head down, everyone! Get down! Stay down!" Birds. It was a bird strike, I hear. No? Bang, bang! Screams are filling the plane, and we begin falling. My best friend Nishi called for his mum. Bang! Bang! And then there was darkness. Silence. When I woke up, I was no longer on planet Earth.
We are known you with pain. 'Twas you, irascible bastard son of the fallen house of Kaku. Do you remember our treaty? You must deliver us an innocent life on our arrival. If you do so, we will rule your humans justly. Failure to do so means every human life will burn.
So, I opened my eyes after the plane crash and I was surrounded by nurses. And they looked strange. I mean, skin was green, some were purple. And they were speaking in a language that I didn't understand. The room was covered in a red light. And then this lady walks in. She spoke to them in this alien language. And then she looked at me. And she spoke English. "How are you? Have you eaten?" smile was so warm and she looked human, but with gold skin and red hair. And she held my head and told me that everything was going to be okay. So I was told by this lady that I was on a planet called Kaku, 50 million light years away from Earth. And then they told me what had happened to me. A crew of explorers from Kaku, they found my lifeless body amongst the wreckage of the plane crash. We'd crashed somewhere near the Atlantic. Apparently I was the only one breathing. Now, the Kaku have a clear no interference rules with planets like Earth, but one explorer, he felt pity. I mean, to this day, I still don't know who that was, but they took me because only their technology could save my life. No doctor on Earth could save me. The lady at the hospital told me her name was Kara. She was daughter of the Chief Huck and Duchess of the Boldkey tribe, wife of King Carvalho. She was the Queen of Kaku. I asked if I could go home. She said soon, when I got healthier. But as the weeks unfolded, she told me the truth. She said the portal to the Milky Way only once opened every 20 years, and there was no way back to Earth. I was angry. I screamed at her, "You're lying!" After weeks, months in that hospital bed, I was convinced I was hallucinating. I was in some kind of hell, perhaps. I prayed every night to go back home, to see my mother, to see my family. I would fight the doctors. Despite that, the Queen would visit me every day to feed me. One day, they moved me out of the hospital, and I saw the planet I'd been taken to. It was beautiful. I saw 2 huge moons, one with a ring like Saturn. The land was green, the sun was warm, the trees were huge. The roads were paved in gold. Perhaps I was in heaven all along. I rode in a flying chariot. I saw others whiz past me. People were wearing sparkling robes. I saw human faces, but also some weird alien faces with big eyes and these no-nose type. Anyway, I was moved into the palace of Kaku. It was a gigantic piece of architecture, like the Taj Mahal, except bigger, and it floated in the sky, full of beautiful calligraphy, gardens and rivers. I saw golden birds and flying fish. I would join the Queen's family at dinner. And this is where I met King Carvalho, a strong man with a long beard. And he embraced me and they introduced me to their son, Mehan, and their daughter, Sophia. They were twins, 1 year older than me. They said now I was part of the family. Hi, is that Brian Griffin, head of NASA?
It's pronounced Brianna, yes. Yes, what do you want? It's 3 a.m.
My name is Elijah House, and I need to warn you that an invasion is about to hit Earth, and we need to warn the president.
How did you get my number?
I've hurt a lot of people, Brianna. A lot. Hello? Hello? She hung up on me, chat. Chat, she hung up on me. NASA, hang up on me, chat. So for the next 10 years in Kaku, I was trained in multiple languages. Mathematics, athletics, war tactics. Similar to the schooling we have on Earth. It took a while for me to make friends. I was left out a lot. I used to play with a slingshot while the others played together. I don't know if it's because I was shy or they just, well, didn't want to include me. This one kid, he kept picking on me. He kept calling me Mukan Bai, just raccoon boy. His name was Pericles. As soon as I started to speak Kaku, the language of Kaku, it made things easier. There was this one moment, this giant Cyclops monster invaded the school cafeteria. Pericles was in big trouble. but I hit the monster with a slingshot and it went down. From that moment we were friends. I'd see my adopted father rule the kingdom gently. He talked to the poor, the weak, and made sure they were taken care of. He spoke of democracy and praised Earth for it. He said one day Kaku would implement it, and his brother Faraz, head of the military, despised the idea. Faraz was always kind of mean. Sophia told me Faraz was thirsty for power, and he wanted the crown. My new brother, Merhan, at first he was standoffish, understandably. I was a stranger living in his house, but we came close. I told him about WWE and John Cena. "You cannot seeth me," he would shout. Him, Sophia, Pericles and my other friends, they would all take me to see the falling stars, ride the flying camels of the Hunker Valley, hunt wild kangaroo type creatures. It was such a great life. We'd do something new every day. And I'd forgot my life on Earth completely. After I graduated from school, I was given a job. It was near our summer home. It was my job to oversee the National Forest of Rahara, making sure everything ran smoothly. Within the forest, there was the River of Saints. It was said to be holy water that no demon could reach. Elsewhere, there was something brewing across the galaxy. The Akazid, a Viking-like race who were gaining power, killing kings and taking over planets. 50 viewers, nice. Oh, this story gets weirder, guys. One morning I stood outside our home, breathing in the fresh air. It was off-season. No tourists could visit the forest. Merhan was staying over to see me. Then I heard a terrible scream from one of the servants. "We have to go now," Merhan said. And I turn and I look in the sky and I see the black ships of the Akazid. They'd breached the atmosphere. Our royal guards ushered us towards our racing pods. They were like these bikes that would whiz through the air. And the plan was to ride our hidden spaceship that was underground through the forest. As soon as we got on the bikes, we were being shot at immediately. And then we saw another group of these Akazid chase us on foot, and then they disappeared. "They're not gone," Merhan shouted. "They're just invisible." We rode through the forest, and then like dominoes, our bikes were hit. And we fell to the ground, and we were smashed into the trees, and one of our soldiers died, and the other told us to run, and he'll hold them off. Merhan and I, we ran, and I ran, and we ran, and we ran, until we reached the River of Saints, and I jumped in. I swam, and the tide was stronger than I thought. I was holding onto a rock, nearly drowned, and in that moment, I remember being a kid who was scared to swim. When I looked back at the other side of the river, at the bed, I saw an Akazid hold my brother by his neck. These Akazid, they were these large beasts with husks and red eyes. And my brother shouted, "Don't come for me. Stay in the River of Saints. They can't see you, brother." And then they slit his throat. I screamed. I tried to swim back, but the rapids, they took me away. I was pulled down a waterfall. Memories of the plane crash filled my mind. I was in a lake of water when I came through. I swam out and I crawled into the bushes. There I noticed a creature of the forest. A mukan. It's a raccoon-like thing that people used to call me. He wore a dark robe and grabbed my hand. Took me to an underground tunnel. He was a good lad. We made it to a ladder. I climbed it to the top and opened the cage. I reached the surface of a field. The Mukan pointed me in the direction of a barn, and I ran towards it to see a farmer cramming people into a craft. "Dear God," he cried. "Prince of Kaku, are you in need of escape?" "Yes," I replied. We jumped onto the craft, and then the farmer, he flew into space. As I looked outside the window, I saw the blue sky of Kaku turn purple. Multiple escape vessels around us. How could this have happened, I asked. The farmer said, "I heard news the Akazid have mastered invisibility. Our radars, they failed to track them," he said. "They were amongst us, I believe, without us knowing. But beyond that, your uncle Faraz has taken the throne, welcoming the Akazid rulers." "What of the Queen?" I asked. He paused. "She has fallen, my liege, along with the princess and Sophia and the king. I'm sorry, my boy." Hello.
Hey, Elijah, how are you?
I'm well, Dr. Tatum. How are you?
I'm good. You can call me Dana. You know
And I
that.
told you, Dana, that you don't need to call me anymore.
Okay, I get it. You're not in a good mood. Look, your mom has been trying to call you, and she's a little worried. You haven't been picking up your phone, and I look at your stream, and you're behaving erratically.
Erratically. I am telling the world the truth. My truth, for once.
I know you've been through so much. You have an unbelievably heartbreaking story.
Oh, yeah. How about you tell me, eh? You tell me what my story is.
Okay, this is what I know. You were in a plane crash, washed up in Brazil, raised at an orphanage, before being adopted by an abusive family from Australia, and then you join the army, get severe brain damage, lose your memory after years of drug abuse, you go missing, and then finally we wind up back in the UK, reuniting with your mother.
I made all that up, Doc. Because I knew you and my mother could not handle the real story.
And the real story is that you're some kind of intergalactic Lawrence of Arabia. I think you're going off the rails.
You don't know shit.
Maybe no one knows what happened to you after the plane crash, but I think you're inventing these stories to cope with the tragedy of life. And that's understandable.
What do you want from me?
I want you to tell me where you are.
You want to know where I am, so you can lock me in the psych ward again. I've held my tongue for too long. The world is in danger, Dana. I can't pretend anymore.
Have you kidnapped someone?
If everything that I'm saying is bullshit, then why would you believe that?
Where are you, Elijah? Please, I'm worried.
You worry about your damn self, Dana. Go worry about your other client list instead of me.
I get it, son. You're going through a lot right now. Before you hang up, I want to remind you of what you told me when we first met. You had a mantra that you would tell yourself. Even in the worst moments, be kind.
You want proof, Chuck E. Cheese? Call the President of the United States of America.
Yeah, hello, this is President Carter.
Mr. President, you must listen. The world is in danger.
Who is this on the line?
My name is Elijah House.
Am I being punked? Is that still a thing?
Yes, Mr. President.
You see that, chat? You see that? So let's continue with the story. Our space vessel sailed across the stars. I told the naval farmer to drop me at planet PAYN. Farmer was not fond with the idea. see, the dictator, Fenta, he had turned the land into a mess. He ruled with an iron fist, reinstituting slavery. But I insisted. My mother was the daughter of the Boldkey, an indigenous nomad people of PAYN. If I went there, perhaps I would be welcomed. I made my goodbyes to the farmer who saved me. He and his family, they looked sad. It was as if I had made a life-ending decision. But he gave me food and water for my travels. And he wished me luck. I took a vacant escape pod, but it malfunctioned on the way down. I crash-landed into the desert of PAYN. From here, I walked for days. I used the stars to navigate me. It was around day 5. The heat of the desert made me delirious. I could barely move. My food, my water just ran out. Tribes will find you when you need them the most, my mother would say. You must not fear pain. Walk to it and through it, for on the other side lies greatness. I remember seeing a palm tree. Perhaps it was a mirage. But then I heard laughter. And then I collapsed. When I woke up, I saw 2 kids looking at me. One was green, and one had 3 eyes. I looked around and I was in a tent. They giggled and ran off. Then she walks in. Samana. She was my age, a doctor of sorts. She spoke to me in the Boldkey language. I couldn't really understand. I tried to speak with Samana with a few phrases, who I was, where I'd come from. And then 2 warriors broke into the tent. She pleaded with them. Pulled my sleeve to reveal the guard of PAYN. It was tattooed on the top of my shoulder. I was the adopted Duke of Boldkey. They lowered their swords and bowed their heads. The chief Canto entered. He lifted me up. He embraced me. For days I would be fed. I sat in the evenings next to the wood fires as people danced. One day it began to rain. Samana sat with me. It turned out that she was the daughter of the chief. She saw me trying to say the Boldkey word for rain as it poured. She told me in English, the sound of the rain needs no translation. The tribe I was staying with were known as Boldkey Sudana, not of my mother's direct lineage, who were the OG Boldkey. The Sudana had joined the OG Boldkey 200 years ago, during the Great War of PAYN. They were neighbouring tribes, so they shared the same language. And as Chief Canto would say, relationships built of spilled blood are greater than blood alone. I got up one day and decided to help the tribe. They made the most of their money by selling carpets in the market and would move across the planet, selling them. When I was in the market, I knew some languages that they didn't, and I was able to interact and sell to them. I met with my mother's family, who lived close to the current place we moved to. It was a sad day, at which we performed a funeral of sorts. We burned leaves, sang prayers. The Boldkey chief, my mother's cousin, told me of how my mother was given the chance to live in Kaku when aid workers visited and noticed her intelligence. The tribe sadly felt it was best for her. PAYN, 200 years ago, was ruled by 5 tribes, distinct regions, as it had been for thousands of years. Essentially, they were continents: Boldkey, Sudana, Choktree, Bedfordas, and Bahari. The capital was in Boldkey, And there sat the king of pain, a man called Salak. Fenta was chief of the Bahari. He wanted power for himself. He wanted the whole planet. He drilled for a mineral called Laza in the Shadowlands. He sold the Laza to the Akazid, and the Akazid, in return, gave weapons to Fenta to fight to rule the planet. This was called the Great War of Pain. And the Akazid themselves were unable to step on the planet. The Boldkey tribe developed a war bell from a special metal. When it rang, it caused them to bleed internally. So, Fenta took control, killing millions of people.
They're all there, Bilderberg, Freemasons, Illuminati, World Economic Forum, Bill Gates.
That night I watched the stars with Simana. She told me I'd make a lousy king. She wanted to dance. I'm pretty lousy at that too, I said. I've seen worse, she said to me. We both laughed as we danced. We saw glowing frogs jump by the Lake of Hearts. It was there we kissed. A month later I asked her if she wanted to marry me. She said yes. And I asked her father and her mother for her hand in marriage, and they said I didn't even need to ask. And a marriage was planned. Oh, the festivities were grand. The best drummers of Pain played, and we were married. One day at the market, Fenta's soldiers crashed the stalls. Taxes had been increasing. I saw them put an old lady into the street. They took all the gold from her market stall. I jumped in and I grabbed one of them by the wrist. And he was about to whip the old lady. We fought. His 3 goons joined in. I took the sword off of one of them, kicked him down, and then I beat up the others. I told them to leave. 2 did. 1 did not. He saw the sleeve of my shirt ripped. The Prince of Kaku, he laughed. What are you doing in a marketplace filled with these peasants? Huh? Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Your whore mother has been killed. So will you. He spat out blood and ran at me. Despite my rage, I did not intend to kill him. But I did. I took my first life. The crowd were silent until they began to chant. Raj al-Payn, Raj al-Payn, King of Pain, King of Pain. A few days later, the 4 chiefs of the fallen nations, as well as defectors from Bahari, met at Boldkey camp. And they all asked me to lead a rebellion against Fenta. I refused. They said, this is what the people want. What does the sage say? I asked. The blind sage. She sat behind us, with white hair and large black eyes. I see them all. I see the invisible enemy. Surely they fight within. I see the reunion of the universes. I don't understand, I said. And she said, my words of mine. Only God knows the future child. But I believe you are destined for great things, oh Elijah, son of earth, prince of Kaku, king of pain. And the announcement was made in the morning. I was proclaimed the unified king of the tribes of Pain. And I would challenge Fenta for the throne. Shortly after, message arrived from Fenner. He asked. He asked to speak with me. I was given a rock, much like this one. And from it, Fencer spoke. Young prince, I admire your spirit, but you must know your tribes will not be able to breach the walls of Bahari. The technology I have been given is too strong. King Fencer, your mines are running out of laser and soon the Akazid will stop funding you. Step down. Now, stop enslaving your own people. Let's work together. Let us work together and we can make PAYN a beacon of light to all planets. That is not going to happen. But how about this? I give you recognition of your chiefdom. You may rule from the Credo district to Mount Cave. And in return for your cooperation and taxes, I will give you 50 of the finest slave girls I own. That is a good deal. I want the mines to stop, the slaves to be released. I want the rations to increase. Oh, Elijah, you can't have all of that. I am going to have to kill you and all of your supporters. I declare war. And so war was declared. Samana cried that night. In the morning she told me she would prepare the doctors and nurses for wounded soldiers. She then kissed me. But then she whispered this to me. She whispers, Sheruk tuk nasana, Sheruk tuk nakanara, Shading lepenaris, Amara akarakta. The tribal leaders and warriors, they all discussed a war plan. The defectors of Bahari, they told us. We couldn't win on strength, despite outnumbering the enemy. However, if I were to capture the gold sword of Bahari, most of the Baharis would actually recognise me as king. We were then interrupted by a purple man named Jeff. And he spoke of an elephant that could fly, that could breathe fire. I said, go get it. And he said, all right. People told me that Jeff was crazy, that he'd been looking for this elephant for about 39 years, so every little helps. On the day of the war, we rallied the troops close to the walled city of Bahari, within which stood the palace of PAYN. We then saw Fencer's battalion. They stood tall, the advanced Akazid weaponry. I rode on a mighty steed to the front of my people. I said, I wish not to fight. I wish not to lead. But Fencer is destroying the planet of PAYN. He is destroying the children of PAYN. And it is will of the people for him to stand down. And if he will not cooperate, he must be forced out. This is your will, and what is willed cannot be broken and will not be broken. Your bodies will not be broken. Your souls will not be broken. Your mind will not be broken. For you are steel. You are fierce. You are PAYN. Everyone roared in response. One man, he spoke up. How can we fight? He said. When they got weapons, these things will burn us alive. I can ride but a mule. We're not all blessed to have horses like you, Before others tried to squash his rebuttal, I replied, then take my horse, my friend. Your mule is from PAYN, and so it can carry mountains. I will ride it with pride. So he took my horse, and I rode the mule. And to soldiers attack first. Their armour, it allowed them to fly in the sky. We rang the war bells as a mighty chorus. As our mules and horses, they flew to meet them. Many of our boys died that day. I mean, it felt like for a while we were all gonna die. It was like stars falling from the sky. My wife's father died in front of me. And then I was hit. My mule, it fell to the ground. And I lay on the floor, bleeding. My jaw was broken. And I thought to myself, is this it? Is this the end? Was any of this real? And then in that moment of surrendering to the unknown, I saw a flying elephant breathing fire through the sky. I took a deep breath in and I got back on my mule and I headed towards the enemy. I was on ground. Where was Fenter? Where was Fenter, the coward? A coward, no doubt. And I saw a looking tower. It wasn't far from the battle, and I knew he would be there. I entered the tower to meet 40 Bahari soldiers. I slaughtered them all, and then reached the top of the tower. And there he was, Fenter. I told him, this could all be over. This could all end. Just call off your troops. Ask the people who should lead. He refused. Stared out the tower. Where is the sword? I asked. If you give me the sword, I would become king of PAYN. I'd rather die here, he said. It must be here. He wouldn't leave it at the palace. I searched the room. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw him lunge for me. I turned and blocked, and we traded blows for a while. And then I stabbed him through his stomach. I thought of my family on Kaku. This was my vengeance on the Akazid. I would kill their dog. I stabbed him repeatedly. He bled on the ground. I saw him move his eyes. I followed his eyes. And I looked to my left and I saw a frightened little boy looking at me. Why would you bring him here? To see his papa, Rin? Fenter replied. I couldn't catch my breath. I couldn't look at the boy. I could only say I'm sorry. I grabbed my sword and I jumped out of the tower, back onto my mule. And I flew into the sky. And I held the golden sword into the sky. Everybody looked at me and the fighting stopped. All hail the king, they shouted. All hail the king. As well, my new nickname, they began to shout, PAYN ki mule, PAYN ki mule, mule of PAYN. How did I get to Earth? Well, being a king wasn't actually that easy. It's really hard. I mean, turning off the supply to the Akazid, that was my first act. And they told me they'd make all of our trades a nightmare with other planets. And then they told me if I ever left PAYN,
I'd be hunted.
Anyway, I freed the slaves of the laser mines, but there was a period of lack of income, and because of that I told the people that we had to rely on our own land. So we created wind turbines, solar panels, but they didn't really work that well. So we had to go back to the laser mines. But this time, workers were treated fairly. We used the laser to fuel technology. That helped build hospitals and schools. We blended the ways of the Boldkey and the ways of the Kaku. Farmers were treated well. Of course, many were starving. There were also many victims of the war. I would see the cries of mothers and children every day. I'd have to resolve disputes. I would have to try and rebuild our space defense against the Akazid. I wanted to take back Kaku, but the others said we had no chance of doing it. Couldn't sleep. I'd have flashbacks to the people I killed. My wife needed me. She was pregnant. She had lost her father and her brother in the war. She had lost the person that I was before it. One day out in the desert, where our space defense systems were being built, I spoke with a scientist who trained on Kaku. He said the waves in the universe had reached its 20-year cycle, which meant the portals to the Milky Way, they were open. I asked if we've got a device to go there, and he said, PAYN has an underground research facility. It's not touched for years, within which there's a machine that can access the portals known as the Great Bridge. Took me down there. We turned it on. 2 pillars stood forming a glowing plasma ring. Walk through the portal and you can go to wherever you want. You just have to know where you're going. If I go, will I be able to return? I know not, my king, the scientist said. I put one hand into the void. Perhaps it was all a dream. Perhaps I was in a coma. Perhaps if I walk through these pillars, it'll all be over and I'll be able to see my family again. And I walked through. I walked through with nothing but my clothes and this rock. And in front of me was the door of my childhood home. And I turned around to see that the portal had closed. I knocked on the door. I saw my mum. My mum opened the door. looked at me and she said, Elijah. My mother would go on to tell me how my father passed away. My siblings came to visit, but they couldn't believe I was their brother who died in a plane crash. All along, I couldn't tell them what happened to me. I said I had amnesia. They did the DNA test and then confirmed the result. Paired me up with a therapist. I told him how a fake story of how after the crash I'd washed up in Brazil, was taken to an orphanage, adopted by an Australian family, and I joined the army, while suffering from memory issues throughout. He somewhat believed me. Well, because he had no other rational explanation. He had no rational explanation or reason that the sole survivor of a plane crash shows up at his family home 20 years later. I got a job in an apartment. Things were going well. Perhaps I did have a form of amnesia. Maybe. Maybe the lie I'd made up on the spot was the real truth. Until one day this rock started speaking to me. The Akazid had sent a warning. They were coming. They were coming to Earth, and they would kill, as I, the mule of pain, would kill an innocent life for them, just to mess with my morality, I suppose. But the Akazid tend to keep their twisted promises, so that's why I'm here today. That is why I have kidnapped you, Mr. Delivery Man. You must be hungry. You know? Take the food you plan to deliver to me. But remember, no shouting. Ah, here. Eat it. It's a chai water, right?
Look, bro, I know you're going through a hard time, bro, but, like, the thing is, if you just let me go, I won't tell the police.
One life to save 7 billion.
Yeah, like, you don't, come on, you don't have to do this, bro, like. Now, see, you said it was an innocent life, like, you know, no, I'm not even innocent, I'm a bad guy. Cause me, bro, I got a speeding ticket yesterday, I'm not innocent, yeah? So just let me go, please.
I was watching you before you came in. You held that door for that old man in the corridor.
Yeah, it's just a little thing, bro. It's just, that's nothing, man. That's a little thing, you know?
Yeah.
Please.
That's all that's needed.
Just let me go, please.
Do you wish for your family to die? For everyone to die? Maybe there's something in that. If everybody dies, does anybody die?
You're not healthy, bro. You're crazy, bro.
Don't call me that.
Elijah. Ek son sukte. Ma Yahoo Elijah penkemule.
Samana. Barukto.
Benikuzun nesunke in salme. Ben huakazit bakthumno.
Yes. I need your help. I need your help to save the people of Earth. I need the help of PAYN. Please call on the tribes. Tell them to ring the bells.
Why would we come for you when you left us? Why did you leave me? Was it easy for you to break my heart?
By the time I left, I didn't know what was real.
In Keresina?
It's our child.
Yes. The bells of PAYN will not ring for you. I wish you well.
Okay, but please don't stop talking to me.
I have to go. I have to close the windows. It's raining.
Hi, Elijah. It's Mum. I don't know how to leave a voice note, so this is my first attempt. I heard from Dr. Tatum. He says you've been acting a little cuckoo. Well, I've got news for you. I didn't wait 20 years just to leave you alone. I'm here and I'm gonna keep ringing you whether you like it or not. The doctor said you're a little confused about who you are. Well, this is who you are. You're my boy. You love wrestling. John Cena is your favourite. You like fried chicken. You are brilliant at table tennis. You love to cuddle. You get shy when visitors come to the house. You hate when people fight. You had a stroke when you were 2 after a bad fall. But you got up and learned to walk again because you are powerful. You are kind. And you are my boy.
You go.
After all that?
Yeah. I'm letting you go.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen across the world, they're here. But do not fear. The Akazid, they're weak. They have nothing to fight for except their carnal desires. We have everything to fight for. We have love. We have something to protect.
Elijah House, this is the police. Open the door.
You need to leave. It is not safe for you
Give
here.
you one more warning. You need to open the door.
I'm the one you want. I'm the king of PAYN. I am the prince of Kaku. I'm the forgotten son of Earth, please. Please take me up. I'm the one you want. Don't take them.
Our sacrifice.
There is no one. It's just me.
You have grown weak, mule. You'd be happy to know your traitor, uncle, is dead.
Thanks for telling me that.
Your sister and Queen Mother died quickly after they were defiled.
Show me your face. Show me your face, you coward! Fight me! Fight me, come on! Come on, now you can't see me.
What is this human technology? How egotistical.
Match point.
You can save the people of Kaku. You abandon your child. You are the abomination. And no one will save you or this world. No.
We ain't going out like that. Watch me go and bounce right back. Down for the count, but the hound strike back. It get like that. I don't wanna hear it, but you hit me right back. They talking, they told me take the L and move on. Heard it from somebody who's been taking L's their whole life. I don't know what you want. Passive when they play you. Expect the best from people like there's nothing they can do wrong. Seen this movie way too many times to be the fool for you to chew on. Nah, I'm not complaining, but there's things I can improve on. Why would I?
Lock in.